time. I be the man that lasts in the suckers. I be the man that run the suckers. No, you cocksuckers. I'm bad, it's drinking vanilla. Crown boy, you feeling real smooth. Dude, attitudes be changing left and right. I ain't talking about nothing coming off the top of the brain. I'm feeling like insane podcast, unpredictable like mystical. We doing that thing, we bang. Easy breezy, back in Hawaii. Loving what I gotta do to make it look like Steve, huh? Alexandria. I don't wanna mess with anybody. Look, I'm the man in the game.
What happened?
Yesterday I had to go to Philly for a client. I came back. I had to go see another client in Gwyn Oak. And I mean, also I'm a mom, so I'm doing all the domesticated things. So, and then I got some things I got to do for clients today. I had to go to the post office this morning. I had a consultation right before this. I'm just like, but we good.
Well, I appreciate you for for doing this. Damn.
I'm grateful to have been invited, so thank you.
Hey, it's all about the connection. Shout out to Morgan, the glow giver.
Yes, come on, Morgan, because she got my skin together. Okay.
She got mine too. Hey, well, we getting there. We in a work in progress. Okay. Yeah. So shout out to her. It was just her birthday, actually yesterday.
Happy birthday, girl.
Yeah, I dropped the podcast that we did with her yesterday as well. So
try to go listen to that.
Yeah, on her B-Day. But welcome to another episode of Unpredictable Thoughts Podcast. Boy Trouble's in the building, doing the damn thing, ain't doing nothing at all. I want to give a shout out to everybody that have listened, that's watching. I'm slowly trying to get this YouTube thing situated. I just post a video. I don't really got no crazy intro or, no links in the bottom. I just keep it pushing, but it's a work in progress. I will get there one day. Just keep on supporting, and then just drop little comments. Just drop comments, and maybe it will reflect, or just push people into my life to where they could just help me out with it.
Yes.
But I want to give a shout out to everybody that purchased the merchandise. Unpredictablethoughts2.com. We are all about keeping that same energy, which is all about sustainment and sustainability. We got a very, very special guest. You just heard her. She's a mom. She's a traveling doula. She's a wellness practitioner, a placenta
encapsulation.
I could a specialist of self-care, a mom bod advocate, an author, a womanist,
yes.
Womanist. And a mom bod advocate.
Yes, you got it. I think you got it all.
Yeah. Can you turn your volume up a little bit?
Yeah, let me see. It say it's all the way up. Maybe I need to lean in. Maybe I need to project my voice.
No, you good. You good. I'm pretty sure it'll play out during the podcast.
Okay.
But I just messed that whole intro up just to be like, can you turn the volume? Can you turn that up?
That's okay. We can do it over. Whatever we need to do.
All right, but yeah, we have Bree in the building. I appreciate you.
I'm grateful to be here. I listen. I'm grateful. Okay, if you think what I'm doing is cool, I love it. Well, worth talking about.
I don't even know really.
Right.
Much about it. So I'm a forever student about life. That's just me, So I did have, someone in the past that was aspiring to become a doula, and I ain't know nothing about it because she was like real big into breastfeeding. She was a breastfeeding advocate,
and
whatnot. So I'm like, okay, cool. So that introduced me to the world of women. I'm male privilege.
Yes, come on, talk about it. All right.
Yeah, so it was just male privilege. Like I didn't understand that world or whatnot. As many worlds, that it is. So, I kind of heard about doula, but I'm like, you know what? Let me find somebody that actually does this, and not just have my speculations on what the hell a doula is.
Yes, because hopefully I can give you all the things you need to know, so you have some basic concept of what we do. Okay?
Yeah, because every time when I think of doula now, I just think of like, don't laugh at me, but I honestly think like y'all out there assisting people in their living rooms with the little baby kiddie pools, like with the child natural births.
I mean, to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I wouldn't quite put it like that. It's much more sacred than a living room kiddie pool vibe, but I got you. I got you though.
Okay, so so break it down to the basic. What is a doula? And yeah, what is a doula?
Yeah, so essentially a doula is a birth worker. So we assist a birthing person emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, um, throughout their process of birth. So we support them almost like a big sister, like an unbiased big sister. So like a lot of us will say we mother the mother, because in pregnancy is very baby focused. Even though we are growing an entire human being, our body is doing all kinds of things, our organs are shifting, okay, like things are growing. We grow a whole organ that delivers itself after the baby comes out. So like our body is really making magic, but we pretty much get neglected throughout that process. So we are there to really hold space for the birthing person. So that's like a really quick snapshot, and it's so vague, but
Yeah, I kind of needed something deeper.
okay, so how that can look, right? So how that can manifest is like, say a woman or a birthing person rather is interested in having a home birth, but they're either a first time parent or their first delivery was at the hospital. There's so few, like there's not a lot of knowledge around home birth, so there's only like 1 to 2% of families having home births right now, even though hospital birth is a very new concept. It's only 100 years old, and yeah, and previous to that, everybody was born at home. So it's interesting how the medical system has really just over medicalized birth, and so we've been conditioned to have birth in the hospital. So usually these people who are interested in home birth have no idea about it at all. So what a doula will do is kind of hold your hand throughout that process, talk you through it, help you find a midwife who, you know, is worthy of, you know, you seeking out their services. We'll give you a script of questions to ask them to make sure that they're qualified. We'll do our own research and stalk them a little bit and tap into our communities, our birth worker communities, and be like, hey, you work with this midwife, what is it giving? You know what I mean? So stuff like that, we can help with helping you build your registry for your baby shower. If you're a first time parent, you don't really know what baby needs or what you will need. We help with, you know, recovery. So after a baby's born, if you had a vaginal delivery, we'll make something called Padsicles, which is like pretty much a pad that we put witch hazel and lavender essential oil on for the recovery. So it's like those are some things, and that's like really like such few things, but we do a lot. We give a lot, especially like if it's a hospital birth. We really focus on advocacy and evidence-based information. So we provide articles and podcasts and things like that so that you can safely navigate the hospital system in birth. Because like I said, birth is looked at in the hospital now as like a treatment and like a something to, you know, it's very risk oriented, the perspective of birth now. So everything is just over medicalized. It takes away from the sanctity of what birth is. It takes away from the physiological, like natural process of birth. So it's just a lot of forcing of medicine and taking you out of your natural state and things that your body was literally created to do on its own. So yes, that's my very long-winded, detailed manifestation of what a doula can look like.
Yeah, so basically you're there, you know, just for the almost like an assistant. You know, you're there mentally for them, spiritually, emotionally for them. Do y'all assist in postpartum as well?
We do. Yep. So we, like my company specifically, we are a full spectrum doula service.
Shout it out.
Shout it out. Shout out to Birthright Wellness. Okay. So we service families and birthing people throughout the birth continuum. So that ranges from preconception, labor and delivery, postpartum, and also we're a little different because we also support for miscarriage and loss as well.
Wow.
So that's what full spectrum is. That's the birth continuum, is including miscarriage and loss all the way up to delivery and postpartum. So we do the whole thing, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Very
that's dope. So you answered one of my questions earlier. It's just like I was going to ask, are you able to request a doula while being in the hospital? Is it like being a doula? Is it not foreseen? Like, why do you think that people? Is it because of the lack of knowledge that people don't request one, or?
so like, and I hate to sound like can I curse?
Yeah, I'm
All right.
drinking. Like, I'm drinking shit.
All right, cool. I'm like, I hate to shit on the hospital system, but really, it's not built for Black people. Period. And so the fact of the matter is, Black women die 3 to 4 times more than our white counterparts in hospital and births, and in some cities it's even higher than that. In New York City, we die 12 times more than our white counterparts, and it's purely due to negligence. Like if a Black woman is like, I'm in pain, they like, oh no, black women have higher tolerance levels of pain, so like, you good. And like, there's a lot of things that are looked over, and most of the time we're dying after being discharged from the hospital, after the negligence, and we get home and we hemorrhage, we die, we have strokes, all of these crazy things that could have been avoided, right? So because we have, and a lot of us, well, not a lot of us, but specifically my company, we are very holistic health based and very spiritually based and very ancestrally led, right? So we work with like a lot of traditional ways, and so the hospitals don't like that, because it's like, it's just not respected. It's like, oh, what is this spiritual aspect want to do for this person? Or they don't like that. We'll come in and say, like, I had a birth, and this doctor was trying to force some medical intervention, aka like a man-made hormone, which is like medication, onto my client, because birth wasn't moving as fast as they would have liked it to, right? So they were like, well, if you keep laboring at the pace that you're going at, you have a higher risk of C-section. When in fact, I'm like, based on this article and this research by this physician, 35%, it's a 35% chance that the medicine that you're referring my client to use will lead her in a C-section. So they don't like that, because we advocate and we have evidence-based information and we have knowledge that we can hit them with, because there's a white coat like hierarchy type of vibe in there. So they don't like that. We will challenge them respectfully. I mean, unless they get out of line, but we gotta be professional.
Disrespectfully.
Okay, we will challenge them. You know what I'm saying? And like, we also work with our clients so that they can advocate for themselves. Self-advocacy is a very big part, because I can't want something more for you than you want for yourself. So that's So that's a very big part of what we do as well. But I say all that to say, the hospital, they pretty much shit on doulas, like, especially since COVID. They've been shutting us out of the hospitals, so they've only been allowing one person to come into the birthing space, and usually it's whoever you want plus a birth assistant, which is aka a doula. But now they're just because the world is opening back up a little bit, they're like allowing us back in. But really, COVID was a chance for them to set another barrier and like push us out so that they can manipulate and do what they want to do in the hospital system. And I'm literally waiting for I'm waiting for the numbers to come out around the increase in C-section rates due to the shutout of doulas in this last year. I know the shit is sky high. I know it is, because it's already really, really high numbers of C-section. They make more money. It's faster turnaround for them. They can use more medicine. It's beneficial for them. So
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, do you think it's like when the doctor stated like, yo, this labor taking too long, you probably really looking at the clock like, yo, I got another delivery in like 15 minutes.
Yes, that's a thing. So
it's a chopping block mechanism.
It really is. Yo, I recommend
cookie cutter, my bad.
Everybody out there really needs to watch this documentary called The Business of Being Born. It is so good. It's a documentary. It's, of course, it's evidence-based because it's a doc, but like, it really gets into how they over medicalize birth, and like how these doctors literally just spit out like, yeah, give this person PIT, which is Pitocin, which is a man-made hormone that helps to bring on contractions, which brings out the baby. So they like literally, some of them is like, you know what, I'm just ready to go home and eat with my family. I'm just ready to or if it's a holiday, if it's 4th of July, they try and get the hell out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like they really can use it to their advantage in that way. And all they got to do is just code it as like it was a needed thing. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times where drugs like Pitocin are absolutely needed because of an emergent situation. But like the work that I'm doing, I'm really trying to give the information to my people so that we can get back to our ancestral ways. Like home birth is the safest option, especially for Black women. And hospitals are in place for crisis. So if something goes wrong, God forbid, at home, then we transition to the hospital at that point. We transfer at that point. But like it's a safer option, honestly. But of course, all birth is at the discretion of the birthing person and their family, and we support whatever they want for themselves, but we do still give that knowledge.
Based on, I want to go back to that one situation of when the doctor was saying like, look, this is basically taking too long, right? What is, I guess, the average labor delivery?
Yeah, like the time frame.
Yeah, the time frame.
I mean, it really can range, right? So first time birthing people, it could take between like 12 hours on average. I would say like between 12 to like 36 hours. And it's not that whole time frame is not like you in there like pushing for that whole time. It's not that. It's just that, okay, at this hour your onset of labor started, maybe your water broke, or maybe you're starting to have mild contractions, and then it kind of will progress, and like, you know, it just ends up being a little bit long. But like it's a natural, it's a natural, it's not something that could be, you don't play a numbers game in birth, period. So like it's like, you know, this is on average, but also, and so I'll move on and say that second time birthing people typically have a shorter labor time. So I don't want to say like the amount of hours, but usually what I will say is first time birthing people have a longer laboring time than second time and third time, and so on and so forth.
So would you say the hospitals are just trying to cut that, like 6 hours or less type?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm telling you, like I'm in these hospital spaces, and they're like, okay, it's been 3 hours, so we're thinking about putting you on this so that we can get you to, you know, progress a little faster, because like they like hint at your body not doing what it should be doing, when really it's like you want me to be on your clock. And that's not how a body is. The body doesn't function like that. The body has no concept of time, no matter what we do. Yeah. We like, even if we on a run, we are the ones that's clocking it. It's like and also, yes, our body will tell us like, okay, you've had enough, be tired. But you get what I'm saying. Like the body is not a clock, so it don't function around numbers.
It's not a man-made clock. It's
exactly.
2:45, go pee. Like, no.
Right. It's not that, exactly. That's what I mean. So yeah, they just really are just like, they wanted to be like this. So
that is so interesting. It's just crazy because it's like it goes back to what you were saying earlier, and it's just like the quote I would hear on social media, quote or line of saying like, you know, Black women dying in the hospital is equivalent to Black men dying in the hands of police.
Exactly. It's parallel. It's the same, because we have to think about, these are systems that have been created, right? The police force is a system that was created throughout slavery. The hospital
they were slave catchers.
Exactly. So and the hospital system was created in like I want to say at least the reproductive like aspect of the hospital was like the early, I think, 19th century. And so like that's what I'm saying. Like we don't realize that it is a new concept. Hospital birth is only 100 years old. And it doesn't make sense, especially that in the United States, we have some of the most advanced medicine and technology, and yet our numbers of maternal mortality, aka birth death, is higher than some third world countries. Like, damn. Ridiculous. Like we're number 9. We number 9 out of like all countries of high ass numbers of maternal mortality. It's ridiculous. And yet the countries that are ranging between 1 and 8 are third world countries. It's crazy as shit. It's wild, yo. It's wild. It's wild.
Do you also think something that plays a part is because it may be, well, it's not maybe, it is probably like a high presence of males that's like making these
absolutely. What? of all, what we already know, these people creating these policies and are white men. Like, we live in a very patriarchal nation, period. Like, these people that are in charge of policy are white men. They don't know what is best for women. They don't know what's best for birthing people, period. Like, you don't even have the anatomy to have the understanding. It is interesting too when we even when we think about, having an OBGYN and we're seeing a male physician. Now, granted, yes, they went to school and they learned, but I want to see someone who at least shares the same anatomy for me, because it's like, it's so wild when I'm in supporting these women in hospital birth and I see a man come in and telling them that their body's not doing what it's supposed to do. And I'm like, bruh, you don't even got the same shit. So what are you talking about? Like, yeah, you got your degree, that's cool, but like, you don't even have it. And like, another thing that a lot of us women don't know is that our anatomy is named, specifically our vaginal anatomy is named after white European physicians. Like, even like
the vagina is named after a white woman.
So not the vagina itself, but there are certain parts of our anatomy within the vagina that's named after white men. So specifically, like, I don't know if anyone's heard of like a Bartholin gland. You can get like a Bartholin cyst. Bartholin is named after, I believe he's a German physician. I could pull it up, but like, I don't want to be wasting time. But like, his name literally is like Bartholin something. It's like a long German name. Also, like, the G spot is named after a white European physician. They created that concept. And I forget what else, like, and fallopian. So fallopian tube, it's like his name's like Dr. Fallopi something. Like, they all are white men. So we don't even have our anatomy, and we don't know that. Like,
wow.
As far as and that's a lot of work that we do too within Birthright Wellness, right? Is like reconnecting and reclaiming the sacred anatomy of the woman, because we don't even know that this shit ain't ours. Like, it's already been renamed by.
What was the name before then, though?
I mean, I don't know. Probably some African shit. Probably. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, at that point, it didn't have a name, or I mean, maybe the Egyptians named it. We don't know. Like, I got swept up.
Yeah, I was about to say it had to be something deep.
Yeah, so it's just very interesting. It's very.
I'm very curious about it. Like, we could go on for like 3 hours. No, so what got you into the womb reclamation and birth work?
Yeah. So
I can't pronounce words, so bear with me.
No, I mean, these are words that are not used often. Reclamation. Yeah. So it happened. It started with my own traumatic birth in 2016. So I had a firsthand experience of almost becoming a statistic of maternal mortality. I had an emergency C-section. I lost a lot of blood. They put me to sleep because I had been put on that drug that I stated, Pitocin, that you'll learn about when you watch the Business of Being Born documentary. And so that drug really put my daughter into a state of distress. Her heartbeat was decreasing. Her lungs were filled with fluid. And so they put me to sleep. They told me that my child's father could come into the OR with me for my C-section. They slammed the door in his face. I went in this white sterile room with a bunch of strangers. They put an oxygen mask over me, and I was just freaking out because I've never had surgery. And they were like, "This is just oxygen." And then I woke up and I was in recovery with no baby. So I woke up like super high, drugged up on morphine and whatever else they put in me, because I still to this day I don't know. And it really was just crazy to wake up and not have a child like by my side. So it was like
you were in distress.
It was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot for me. I was very loopy. I remember waking up in recovery and being like, did I have the baby? Is she still in me? I don't know. Because I was just high. And like, the people that were with me were laughing, and they didn't mean any harm, but it's just something that, because of that trauma, like, it's just something that plays over in my head. And I'm like, I just didn't know. I didn't know what happened. So she ended up being in the NICU. She's super happy, healthy, a normal child now. But it's just, I had went on this whole journey of like figuring out what happened to me. I was like, I don't know what happened to me. I didn't get a lot of explanation. They don't really give you your medical records unless you go through this whole process to get them and all of that. And even still, all that shit is medical terminology and jargon and blah, blah, blah. So I went down this whole, because I went through like a really heavy postpartum depression, after having my daughter, because I didn't feel connected. I didn't get that chance to like hold my child after she was born. I didn't see her for 17 hours until after she was born.
Oh, wow.
you know, there's this like mental disconnect and like emotional, even like biological disconnect, if you will, or physiological disconnect rather, when you don't get to experience at least seeing your baby, putting your hands on your baby, holding your baby. So it was almost 24 hours and I hadn't seen her.
Damn.
So I went home, you know, I got home, I was in postpartum depression and like was just going through this whole
Like immediately or like a couple weeks after?
oh, it was immediate. Like I got home and you know, you try to like adjust into this role because motherhood is just it's a big job. So like you just try to adjust to this role of being a domesticated mother, but like you've never been a mother before. So it's like you don't really know what you're doing. You just kind of
Yeah.
go with the
The
flow.
whole baby dolls picking it up and putting it back down for 2 days don't work.
It ain't that ain't it. So you know, just trying to be a good mother and breastfeed and my body's recovering and you know, not really just not having a support in place that I like if I do it again, I'll have this time, of course. But yeah, I say all that to say I ended up looking into like what does birth support look like? Like how does one obtain something like that? And so I ended up finding out about this term doula. And it was so interesting because Erykah Badu is actually a doula. So when I found out Erykah Badu was a doula, I'm like, oh shit, like that's my girl. So I was like,
Didn't you know? Didn't you know?
okay. So I'm like, okay, you know, let me look into this. Let me, you know, let me see what this is. And so I found a doula training program that was like very Black, very rooted in African ancestry, very traditional, very spiritual, all the things that align with me. And so I did my training in 2019, and like now I actually started midwifery school to be a home birth midwife in September. So like I didn't know that I was going to end up being here and getting like so into it, but like my trauma literally brought me to my purpose and
Ooh,
and my pain.
that might be the name of the title of this
Yeah,
podcast.
might be. That sounds good. Yeah, my trauma brought me to my purpose, and really, I'm like, you know, I'm actually grateful for that trauma because I'm like, my pain didn't go in vain. I didn't know what I wanted to be in this lifetime before I experienced my birth. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing a really beautiful thing for Black people, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the work that I'm doing, and I can't wait to see what else I can offer to my people through this work. So
Yeah.
if I had to take the L for everybody else to be straight that I, you know, that I connect with, then fuck it. Like I sacrifice myself in that way. I'm of course I'm still healing, but like I would rather it be me than anybody else, honestly.
Yeah. See that's good because it shows true passion.
Mm-hmm.
It shows true passion, and it shows like, look, you know, this is something that I actually want to do. Like, yeah, I experienced it. However, you're healing through the process. You can't heal what you don't reveal.
Okay, come on.
You can Jay-Z. It ain't my quote.
Yeah, like, don't quote me.
Yeah, don't call me as Jay, but like, you can't hear what you don't reveal. But you know, what you revealing, that it pivoted you to your passion, and we can say your purpose of life.
Yeah.
Because you fall in love with this. Like, you deeply fall in love with this every day.
Every day, yo. I'm like constantly like deepening my knowledge and like taking other classes and taking other trainings. Like I literally just, I just finished another doula training. So at this point, I'm like, I did my first training in 2019. I just finished this other training because I'm just like, you know, I want to be great. I want to be amazing. And this was a training that really, it was even more Black. It was literally promoted for Black people only. Like nobody white was allowed to come to this training. And I was like, yo, that's lit. So like, I'm like, okay, cool. So
It's white doulas?
Oh my God. Don't get me started on them.
So I guess a better question is to ask, is it more support within that community of, you know, white on white doulas versus within the Black community, not that many Black doulas, but then also not that many black women knowing about doulas as well?
I would say it's more so the lack of knowledge and the lack of understanding around like what a doula can do for you.
Okay.
It's definitely more so that as far as our people, right? Like, but as far as white doulas, so doula itself is an indigenous practice, aka not white. Okay, like it's very heavily, it's very it's very popular in indigenous communities. So like especially in like, you know, like Mexico and places like that, and is starting to come back now within the Black community. But like knowing about our history, like I said, we were all being born at home you know, before all of this. So the doula was the auntie that was in the house when you was having your baby. Your mama, your grandmama, everybody, all the women in the family were present in the birthing space back then. So it's really like, yeah, we put a term to it, but we've been doing this shit. We've been out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because white women, especially white women in wellness, continue to they culture vultures. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they have come and swept up under this doula thing and have like what's the word that I want to use?
Monetized it.
Yeah, they definitely monetized it. That's for damn sure. And also just they just made it, you know, made it hella colonized. Like we
Oh,
was
whitewashed.
yeah, like it's very colonized now. It's like, you know, they come through and be like, okay, you're gonna come to our class and turn to chapter this and like, but it's one of those things that for me, and it's no shade, but like a lot of these trainings are white structured. Okay. So it's like and they've been getting called out too. I've been loving COVID because like a lot of white ass shit been getting called out over the last year. So a lot of the white doula trainers and stuff have been called out like, nah, fuck that. You shouldn't be doing that because this is indigenous. Y'all ain't do this. You can't be charging for something that you stole from somebody Mexican. Like, no, don't do that. So, but anyway, it's just very colonized. It's very monetized. It's very whitewashed and all that. But we out here reclaiming it. Okay, we out here doing the damn thing. So, I'll be doing doula trainings within the next year or two because I'm like, listen, we need to be out here for our people. So it's really just.
I've heard that you've had some good or you've been a part of some special people.
Have I?
Yeah, I've heard. I've heard you've been part of some special people in deliveries. Like, has that been? How has that been?
I mean,
you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's been great. You know,
you might want to say it.
No, I don't name drop. No, it's been great. I mean, a lot of it is like I said, like really just taking a risk on myself and positioning myself. I'm really a go-getter. Like when I have a plan, I'm like, I'm gonna go after it 100%. I'm gonna execute my plan, and the power of the tongue, like it has the ability to strike down life or death. If you ask me, that's what it's saying in the Bible. Okay, so like I'm a person that speaks it, and I will manifest it. And so, you know, I had an opportunity to work with someone who's out there and
out there, very, very. What's the word can we use? Well known.
For sure.
Well known in the hip hop industry. We'll say that. What, can we leave it at that?
Yeah, sure. And it's just that, you know, I just have because I just continue to choose myself. I know that God gonna keep choosing me. You know, universe gonna keep choosing me. My ancestors gonna keep choosing me. Like, okay, the most thing, the only thing that I need you to do is choose you, and then we got you the rest of the way. And so I really just got to give thanks to them on that tip. Like, that's all I can say about it. But it's but again, like too, it's really like less about putting people on the pedestal because of who they are, but like just having that opportunity to be connected with someone who can get you connected to someone who can get you, you know what I'm saying? Like that's.
But it shows your work and your passion on it.
Thank you.
It's not like you doing it for the gram, for the money, and then as soon as the opportunity come, you fumbling the bag because like you don't really have that knowledge. Like you have actual knowledge, so it's just like, okay, I'm gonna put in the work. You know, you may not have or just anybody, you may not have, 98 million followers and all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, like they know that you putting in the work, and like as soon as you have a conversation, they're like, oh, you know what you're talking about. You're not doing it for clout. It's for
hell no. It's definitely not about. It's not even about me. That's the thing about it. Like, it's for my people, dog. Like, it's not about me at all. And I think that might be, what sets me apart from some people that's out here doing whatever they do. It's like it's a selfless work to me. It's not about me.
So. Would you only do doula-ing within the Black community, or would you? Branch out.
I mean, everything that I do is within wellness. So
okay,
I do, I do guided meditation. I do sound healing. Like I do other things, I do like journal workshops. I had my book that I have published is actually a prompt journal for self-care of Black women.
Name drop it.
For us, a self-care journal for Black mamas by Bree Mobley. You can find it at Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and also at the link in my bio. So we can tell them at Birthright Well. Okay, it's RITE.
She got shelf space at Barnes and Nobles, nigga.
Listen, so it's there. But so everything. So everything that I do is it's just so many different things. Like, but the Black woman is front and center for me always, because I am a Black woman. I am a divine reflection of my people. So but everything I do is just going to always be for the wellness of Black folks. Like, I have a sister circle called the Mama Log that I do, where I lead us in meditation. I play the singing bowls. I do some journal prompts. We do some like womb movement. But yeah, like I do a lot of shit actually, but it's all under this umbrella of Black ass wellness.
Black ass wellness. That might be another title. I love that. That's dope. So like, okay, as far as Black ass wellness. As far as when you were talking about earlier, it's just like, basically Black women getting mistreated and not taken serious within the medical community. Is it like a body structure? Is it like, well, you're a strong Black woman, you can handle it type shit? It's like say you're a strong Black woman without saying you're a strong Black woman. It's like, hey, just come up to the hospital pregnant.
Literally that. Exactly, you nailed it on the fucking head. There's I don't know if you remember when we was in school, there's like a science textbook company called Pearson. Pearson, a few years ago, had to come out with a public statement saying that they apologized because they wrote in their science textbook that Black people have higher tolerance for pain. And like, when we think about that conditioning, it's because of the ways that, think about how we've been whipped on these slave plantations in front of our Black people, and we wasn't allowed to cry, we wasn't allowed to show any type of emotion, right? But like, now that's manifested into, if they show up in the hospital, they say they don't feel well, or they say they don't they say they sick or something don't feel right in their body, they can tolerate pain. Like, yeah. It's literally been published in a science book. Like, the shit is deep. It's deep. It's deep. It's so deep. It's so deep. Like, do not get me on my soapbox, because I will really be here all day. No, the shit is deep. It's deep, yo. They really do believe that we can take higher tolerance of pain. And I recommend 2 books for anybody to read that's interested in what I'm talking about right now. One being Medical Apartheid, and the other one being Killing the Black Body. And these two texts will really get into what I'm talking about, and see how correlated it is to slavery, how we're treated in the healthcare system. Like, I have a campaign called Womanist. So like you were saying, like, is it Womanist? It's like a play on womanist, but yes, it's womanist because and it's actually, those 2 books really inspired me to do this campaign. It was a merchandise campaign. I'm actually about to relaunch it as well. But basically, it's really for the reclamation of Black wombs, because Black wombs specifically have been used for the advancement of medicine since the beginning of time. During slavery, we were literally given different surgeries without anesthesia in front of people for the exploration of the female body, and the exploration of like uterus related surgeries and womb related surgeries. Black women being used as test dummies, completely awake and aware. Like, there's one slave, I can't think of the name of her at this moment, and I hate that, because I like to say her name. I can't think of her name right now, but she had 18 surgeries without anesthesia before she died, with this bum ass doctor, J. Marion Sims. So that's somebody else you can look into and see how much of a piece of shit he was. But he really just used Black enslaved women's bodies for exploration of medicine. And they call him the creator of obstetrics. Like, he's looked at and like praised for the work that he's done for obstetrics to be what it is today. And so
That
it's
sounds
like,
like John Hopkins
oh
hospital.
hell yeah, absolutely.
I can't think of the lady name, but
Alex.
yeah.
Alex, say her name. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's the same. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. And it's like when you think about it, it's like, oh wow. So obstetrics has, and like the reproductive healthcare system has been built on the bodies of Black women. So that's why, like I said, I position myself to really give this knowledge out.
How can you say it's built on the bodies of Black women, but discount the pain that they went through?
Because they were doing open, unmedicated surgeries on our bodies. So we just looked at like fucking trash. Like it's like, oh, okay, we don't, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
So what if you are in pain? I don't care. You're not even worthy. You're not even worthy of like it being, your pain being acknowledged. And just thinking about how that manifests in so many ways, like that shit is even deeper than just birth. Like how Black women show up in relationships and stuff like that. Like all of these things have a part because we've been hardened by our life experiences. This shit is in our DNA. Like this it's in our DNA. We don't know
generational curses.
Exactly, and generational trauma period has been passed down to us, and it's
trauma. My bad.
Oh, you good? But no, it's still a damn curse. And unfortunately, a lot of it we don't know, but like there's things that may manifest in our lives, who we are today, around certain things, and we don't know why, but it's because our ancestors have gone through a lot of shit, and we don't know about it. And that's a conditioning, right? Like they breaking family dynamics up and breaking it up so that we don't know where we come from and what we're not able to tell our story so that we can heal. It's this big ass question.
Moral structures.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's deep, and that shit is hella deep.
It is.
It is because it just goes back to like how shit on that the white community has done this for so long. It's like, yo, you just scared, honestly.
Yeah, we know that they're the inferior people,
Yeah. So I will say, make sure you trademark womanist if you haven't.
Yeah, that's definitely a
before these white women come out and be like, yeah, womanista.
It's so true. Like, and I'm actually about to another thing that I'm gonna be doing this fall is rolling out the Womanist podcast. So it'll be very centered around Black birth, and like Black women wellness and health. So that's going to be coming out soon as well. So.
Okay, well, hey, let me know if I can help in some sort of way. I'm there to listen, whatever, to get gems and knowledge. Because I want to have children one day.
Yes, it is good to know this stuff. It's very important.
Yeah, and I want to be like, yo, babe, get a doula. Okay. I already know one. Got one on deck. She got a network of people. Period. We good. We ain't about to.
Look, by then I'll probably be a midwife so I can deliver your baby at home. But yeah.
Let's talk about it. What is a midwife?
So the midwife is, all right, so just to back up a little bit, the doula, we're not allowed to do anything medical. So everything like we do is non-medical, non-clinical.
Emotional, spiritual.
Right. So like it's physical, hands-on, like we apply pressure and do hip squeezes and stuff like that to help alleviate pain, but we don't give any medical advice. We can't, like, none of that. That's a liability.
You can't say push.
I mean, we can say it, but we don't really do guided pushing either. We let the body do its own thing, but another conversation for another day.
Okay.
The midwife is essentially, like, if you think about the hospital structure in labor and delivery, your OBGYN/doctor is who is bringing the baby out. The midwife is that person in home birth, in birthing centers. So the midwife is essentially the doctor in birth outside of the hospital.
Oh wow!
But there's a few different types of midwives, but the type of midwife that I will be that kind, the home birth midwife. There's also CNM, which is a certified nurse midwife. And
is that the one in the pool?
What, the CNM or the one that I'll be?
The one that you would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just home birth altogether. Yeah, that includes birth, water birth or not. Some moms just have their baby just in the house. It ain't always in the pool, but.
Oh, okay.
No, but that's okay. You asking good questions because it's a lot. Listen, you actually are getting a lot. You got a lot of good questions. Like I be having these women that be doing consultations and they all be asking me stuff, and then it'd be 6 months later and they be like, "Oh, I didn't know." Yeah, so you asking really good questions. You actually are doing a great job.
I always know the pool. She in a little white tank top, like T people supporting her on both ends, like the legs up.
And usually I'm like, yeah, them two people is usually the doula and the midwife, or somebody in the family. But yeah, so essentially I'll be able to deliver the baby. That's what I do as a midwife.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. Okay, so you can do both.
But yeah, at that point, I'll have doulas in place that I can refer to, and plus, just under the birthright umbrella, we got, it's three of us right now, and I'm the first one that's going into the midwifery path. So, but I'm sure by we getting ready to grow because I have a lot of doulas that's interested in joining our team. So
You said a lot of dudes?
a lot of doulas that's interested
Oh,
in joining our
doulas.
team. Yeah, I don't know any doodlers yet. I don't know. They out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was about to say, can you have? Is that? I mean, it's probably
I
not
mean,
opposed to it, but it's just like,
there's male OBGYN, so I mean,
yeah.
but I don't know. I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, it's a lane for everything out here at this point.
I mean, for who you are, would you accept, a male doula or a mid man?
I don't know. I mean, like you mean like under my company?
Yeah, they were certified, had a couple.
It's more I'm just thinking about because of how sacred birth is, and most of my personal clients are women.
Yeah.
I know them, they wouldn't be comfortable.
Okay.
But it's a different thing. There are like, LGBTQ plus doulas out here. It's for like the trans community and stuff like that. So that's another thing that's out here, maybe that, but I don't know about a man. I don't know how I feel about that.
Next topic.
Okay, next topic. Listen, maybe another conversation for another day.
Offline. But yeah, but that's dope though. I really appreciate just like your passion. Like it's sad that you had to go through the trauma and the pain of it.
Mm-hmm.
However, through every storm is light, sunshine.
Okay, come on.
And the fact that like you really do this as a passion and not for the paper, it shows. It really shows. Just in this conversation alone. I ain't have I could just push off questions. I'm not a woman. So it's just like, I can't get like that deep or whatnot. Cause I tried to look up questions, but it was just like, they kept on repeating themselves. And I was like,
Yeah. It's not a lot of information out here.
So what do you plan on as far as your business, as far as like growing this stuff? What do y'all want to accomplish within the Black community? Seminars, talking, hands-on workshops? Like, what do y'all want to do?
Literally all of that. We just had our first webinar at the end of March, and it was amazing. It was our first one, and we had 50 attendees, and we was thinking it was gonna be like 10, 15 people. So that was super dope. And we like working on some other webinars, information sessions, some workshops that we'll be able to do, to prepare for birth, but also just for other things too, like being comfortable with your body as a woman when you're pregnant. Because like a lot of us feel like really disconnected to our bodies. We want to do, we're planning this like some date night stuff to do with couples, and like inviting in intimacy throughout the pregnancy process, because a lot of couples kind of disconnect a little bit throughout pregnancy. But it's like, don't do that, because y'all had to get it on for it to be pregnant. So we need to keep that same energy, okay? Keep that same energy.
Sometimes you don't be touching the baby feet. You don't
not touching the baby feet.
I'm flying.
Listen, you know what I'm gonna say is, men think that they hanging that low that you think you're gonna touch a baby inside of a womb. You're not, okay? Yeah. You can't even bust through the cervix. The uterus is on the other side of the cervix. That thing hanging like that, okay? Period. But no,
there you go.
No, we out here, we planning on doing some really beautiful stuff for our people. And most importantly, just like letting them know that they are worthy. We are worthy of healing. So we're going to be doing a lot of stuff around like that type of work.
Yeah. So I guess this will be my last question before we end it. How could someone become a doula? Like, what does that process look like? Schooling, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So typically it's a training program. They range from like 3-day immersions to like 6 to 8 week immersions. So I had done like 2 weekends, like a level 1 and a level 2 immersion. And that was in 2019. But you literally just Google doula training program. I was like, African centered doula training program. Like literally just get on Google, yo, use social media. We in a digital age, yo. Like we in the age of information. So you can find somebody is out here doing something that you're interested in. But it's a training program. So it's not actually school versus like midwifery school is actually school. Like I'm going to, it's a bachelor's program. So it's different. But doula training is like usually it's a training program that you can or cannot be certified. Like even if you're not certified, if you took your training, you still can do it. You still can be a doula.
Oh wow. Okay. I mean, it sounds simple.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's that hard. I mean, it's really just that the hardest part. The hardest part is that people don't really know what it is. People don't, you constantly having to say like, well, this is what a doula is, and people are like, oh, okay, and like they thinking to themselves like, is this something that's like worth my time? Do I really need this? But like, yes, you really do. And like my go-to quote is like, if you wouldn't go into court without a lawyer, do not go into birth without a doula. Period. Like, it's that deep though. It's that deep, and we need to get like familiar with it being that deep and that serious. But yeah, it's not a hard process. It's just really like getting your feet in the door. But like I said, if you continue to choose yourself, you really can only go up. Like it's no other option.
Yeah. If you continue to choose yourself, you will continue to go up.
Yeah, it's that
deep. I love it. Shout out everything, your businesses, social media, websites where they can find you on Tuesday, like all that.
Oh my gosh.
Your book, all of it.
Yes. Okay. So again, my name is Bree. My website, my business is Birthright Wellness. What you about to say?
You here in Baltimore?
I'm in Baltimore. I am. My Instagram is Birthright. So that's RITE well, Birthright Well. So that's the website, birthrightwell.com. Again, my book is For Us, a self-care journal for mamas. What else I got going on? I don't know. I be out here. I be in these streets. I be everywhere.
What's the name of your book again?
For Us, a self-care journal for mamas. And again, that's Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or if you go to Birthright Well on Instagram, you can find that at the link in bio. Okay. Oh yeah, and then the Womanist campaign, the Womanist merch line will be back out probably in the next week or so, and the Womanist podcast will be out in the fall.
Womanist or womanist?
It's Womanist, but like it's Womanist, but it's spelled womb, WOMBYNIST.
Okay, what I had. Okay, got it. All right.
Got it.
I'm writing this down. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
You said fall, right?
Yep.
Podcast fall. Okay, I got you. Well, I learned a lot. I really did.
I'm so glad.
As a man, I'm pretty sure we could go much deeper.
Absolutely.
On all topics, but just like the surface level introduction. And I would love to have you on again.
I would love to come back.
We could drink next time.
Okay, and I'm down for that because I also like to drink. Okay.
Okay, say less. But yeah, so I've learned so much, and once I reflect on this and get like a deeper understanding, my questions will come. So like I said, I appreciate you for coming on and answering all my questions of curiosity that I have.
Yes, I'm grateful, yo. I really am.
Yeah, this is it's very interesting, like childbirth, for a woman to, we'll just say like, for her to carry for 9 months and for that organ to grow, and have a heartbeat and, be able to talk one day and cry and make you talk and make you cry one day is just, it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? I was about to just say crazy, but
divine. It's divine.
It's very divine in itself. So, and for you to assist in that process, it's on a whole nother level of support.
It's an honor, yo.
It's of support. And what I'm learning in life is everything needs support. Everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Do anything alone in this life.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, so for all my people that's out here saying like, yo, I'm grinding on my own, I did this shit on my own. No, you didn't.
Okay, it's not possible. Somebody helped you in some
Yeah.
shape, form, or fashion.
And you really need a tribe for everything in life. You need a tribe.
And that's the way of our people. We've always moved with the tribe mentality. It's not about that lone wolf life. Like, that's some bullshit. No, that's not real. It's not real.
Like, you don't go to brunch by yourself.
Okay, come on, talk about it.
You're about 3 to 4, 3 to 6 deep.
Okay, in growing. So yeah, it's we move in packs. That's black. That's the black people way. Like, black people way. We've gotten conditioning to be on this white shit, to be on this I'm alone, I don't need help. That's some bullshit. We need the most healing, so we need people. We need community more than anybody. So
yeah. So overall, I appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you dropping gems and knowledge, because you actually do this, and you do it for the passion and not the paper. So we're just gonna keep that same energy and keep on going. I wish you the best on your future endeavors of life, because you make shit happen behind the scenes. You don't need to be up front. It is what it is. So like I said, thank you. Thank y'all for listening. Another episode of Unpredictable Thoughts Podcast. It might be black ass wellness or my trauma brought my purpose. I don't know the title yet, but it's out of them two. All so right. I'm gonna just end it.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace.